So what we did was we actually surveyed 100 people on Clearwater Beach. We asked them these questions in related to them being customers being sold. Hey guys, Abby Johnson here with Matterhorn Business Development. Today, I want to go over some sales stats that we've put together that are pretty shocking actually, because you might think you know what your customer wants, or you might think you know what you should be focusing on during a sales process, but I think it might be different than what you think it is. Now, a lot of times I'm working with small business owners, and sometimes those owners are still the ones actually selling the product or service just due to how they have grown their team. Maybe they've moved out of the delivery area into sales. And what I've seen a lot is people blaming the wrong reason in their business for the troubles that they're encountering. So they may be talking about reduced sales and they're saying it's a marketing problem. I just need more leads. Or maybe so-and-so messed up on a job and the person never came back and it was their fault. Or the customers just don't really understand my product and it's too unique. Or I need a different product. I need this. Just blaming all kinds of reasons other than actually taking a look at the sales process, the different steps in the sales process, and also how they themselves are selling. Now, this can be hard to look at, especially if you're the owner and you're the one selling. You are probably very emotionally invested in what you're selling. You've gotten your business this far, so obviously you're doing something somewhat right here, but you really have to take a look at what I'm about to talk about and possibly change the way you're selling in order to actually increase your close rate and increase your sales. So it might not be a leads thing, it might be a sales thing, which is what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so what we did was we actually surveyed 100 people on Clearwater Beach. This is a big tourist spot, so you get a wide variety of people there. And we asked them these questions in related to them being customers being sold. So the first question was, what do they not like about being sold or being in the sales process? And these were also focused around the sales rep, the person who was selling them. 30% said that they didn't like when the sales rep was rude or had a bad attitude. I think that's pretty obvious that you should be courteous and nice when you are dealing with your prospects. 36% said that sales reps were too pushy or harassing them. So yes, we want to be really good about the follow-up, which is actually a piece that a lot of people are missing, but you have to be careful not to cross a line where you're harassing the person. And then 14% said that they didn't like that the sales rep was dishonest or lying. So that's pretty obvious again too. I feel like it should go without saying that you need to be honest in your business dealings. But what I've also seen is some people get so desperate for the close, or maybe you're in a position where you're just trying to make payroll and you're just trying to make that close, that you might tell a little white lie or skew things a little bit or promise something that you shouldn't really be promising or you can't deliver on. But let me just tell you, that is going to go south, especially if you're promising something you can't deliver on. You're just going to end up with an unhappy customer who might leave you a bad review or tell their friends that you suck or whatever. So just even in times of desperation, it's important that you are honest and truthful in what you're selling. All right, when people were asked what they liked about their sales experience with individual sales reps, 24% wanted a rep that is nice. Okay. 20% said that they want a rep that helped them. So that's something I try to do when I'm on calls with people, is I'm really there to help and give them advice and guidance, whether they sign up with me or not. I'm really there to help them and make them better through that sales process so that they walk away with more knowledge than they had before. And then 19% said that they wanted the sales rep to have good product knowledge. So obviously product knowledge is important. I'm going to use a car sales example, and car sales reps have, unfortunately, this reputation of being slimy and dishonest and all of that. And this did actually happen to my dad, and I was with him when it happened. My dad was a Corvette driver. That was his favorite car. He literally drove Corvettes all my life. Anytime he got a new car, it was a Corvette. I went to the dealership with him because there was a new Corvette coming out. It was a Stingray, which was a throwback to the old Stingray. I don't remember the years and all that fancy stuff, but that was what my dad wanted. He knew the color, he knew the rims, he knew what he wanted. So he went to go talk talked to a salesman about this, and this salesman had really great product knowledge. He could tell you about the car. He knew every little trim. My dad said, I want this trim. I want these black rims with red brake calipers. And the guy said, oh, well, those just aren't available. We can't get you those. He goes to check on something else, and my dad is looking through a magazine that was on his desk. And right there in the magazine is the black rims with the red brake calipers saying coming 2013, like coming the next year. This was a while ago. My dad points it out to him and is like, hey, you said you couldn't do it, but it says this is coming next year, which means it wouldn't have been available for order for 6 more months. So what was happening was the sales guy knew that, and he stuttered and stumbled and tried to save himself when my dad pointed it out, but he was straight up being dishonest and lying. That's part of that first point of stats that we went over, is he was dishonest and lying. And even though he had the product knowledge and he'd been selling Chevrolet for however many years, my dad, as soon as he caught the lie, went somewhere else and ended up getting the exact Corvette he wanted from a totally different dealership. In this example, it just shows that having the product knowledge, especially if you're like the inventor or the creator of your product or service, that alone is not enough to sell your product or service. You have to have these other components we're talking about, honesty being one of them, but you have to be able to look at yourself on how you can improve in these other area of sales, because only having the product knowledge, only 20% of people actually care about that. Another 20% actually just want to be helped and talked to. Another 24% wanted nice. So nice and helpful at this point is more valuable than your product knowledge, if that makes sense. Okay, so this last stat I think is what is the most mind-blowing, and of course why I saved it for last. I actually just did a video all about pricing, making sure that your pricing is on point. You should definitely check that out, because what I hear a lot is people are scared about losing customers or losing sales if they increase their prices. And the other thing is that a lot of times the sales objection in the sales process is about the price. But the thing is when you look at the stats and the question I'm about to show you, price might not actually be the thing that matters in the sales process. The last question was, in your sales experience, what do you consider or think is infinitely valuable? 19% said nice or friendly. Again, all you got to do is be nice and talk to the person and be friendly and not be a crappy person. That's easy to do. You can do that. Next, another 19% said good communicator, easy to talk to. Okay, again, they aren't talking about product knowledge or the best features or the best price. They just want someone who is nice and that they can talk to. Okay, 19% said product knowledge. That's not surprising considering that's about what answered on the last question, was product knowledge as well, was that same percentage. And then finally, the final answer of getting a good deal, basically meaning getting the best price. Only 6% said that. Only 6% answered that what was infinitely valuable was that they got the best deal. That means that most people who you are selling to, they are more likely to close if you are nice and friendly and honest over you having the best product feature knowledge and having the best pricing. Isn't that wild? Now, someone might give you the objection that it's the price, but there might be some underlying objection under there. We've got other videos about that. That's a whole nother deep dive we're not going to go into. But my point is that you might be focusing on price and product and having the best features and a beautiful brochure and a PowerPoint presentation of 30 slides that was professionally made, when really all you got to do is show up, be a good person, be a good communicator, and more likely than not, you're going to get the sale than how you've been doing it in the past. So I hope this was a little eye-opening for you and makes you take a look at how you're doing sales and reevaluate your process. I'd love for you to join us in our paid community, Adventure to Profit. Within this community, we have many modules on how to grow your business, how to be more profitable. And within those modules, we also have 2 sales training modules specifically if sales is something that you're struggling with. Click below and start your free trial today, and I hope to see you in there.